Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 12, Episode 5. Season 12, Episode 5, overall 610 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the new selection of pre-owned GM vehicles. Great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at cullen.com. I do apologize for the technical glitches here. Hopefully that's the end of them. That happens sometimes in radio, TV, and live streaming. And Barry Cullen Chevrolet, by the way, has been family run and operated here in Guelph since 1969, and they've been a proud sponsor of this show for the last 3 years. I hope everyone's doing well on this Thursday, October 30th, 2025, on the eve of Halloween, which is hard to believe. And I'm looking forward to my guest today. I met her through TikTok, and this is her first appearance on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And tonight's guest, her name is Sherelle Schoburgh. She is a therapist and founder of Caring Conversations and Mental Health Services in the Ajax, Ontario area. And we're going to bring Sherelle on right now. Good evening. How are you, Sherelle?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay, and I do apologize. There was a technical glitch there, and hopefully that's it with the live streaming.
No worries, no worries. Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome, and it's a day before Halloween. So, what do you remember most about Halloween?
Oh, the trick-or-treaters, watching scary movies. Usually it's always raining too.
Or snowing?
Yeah,
Or
snowing. Yep. Having bags of candy, coming home and seeing what kind of treats you got, and throwing out the ones that are like not wrapped properly, right? Yeah.
What was some of your favorite costumes that you wore as a kid, and did you have a particular favorite Halloween candy?
I'm more of like a candy versus like chocolate. So I would love like the Starburst or the Skittles, like chips as well. And I would always be like a bunny or like a cat for Halloween when I was younger, or an angel sometimes.
As for me, I'd always go as a football player, baseball player, hockey, or I guess one year I went out as Spider-Man, by the way.
Yeah.
And my favorite Halloween candy, I would say, would be Kit Kat and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are my absolutely
Good.
favorite, or even M&Ms.
M&Ms are really good. Yeah, that's one of my favorite chocolates as
Absolutely
well.
so. But how are things on your end right now?
Good. It's very busy. Working full time and then also try to run my private practice. It's new, so I recently launched this last week. But I've been in this like field for over 7 years, working in the mental health field with children, youth, and adults. I worked in school boards, group homes, different organizations like respite services. Just always helping individuals, trying to find their voice or their abilities to kind of grow and learn.
Congratulations on opening your own practice. Now,
Thank
is it
you.
online or is it in person too?
It's online as of right now, and then hopefully later on it'll go in person, renting like an office space, but strictly right now it's online.
Sure, I'm based in Guelph, which is, I don't know, about an hour from Toronto, and this show's international. Can you just tell my
Hmm.
audience or tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, yeah. So I always had like the passion to kind of help others. I went to school for child and youth care at Centennial College, which is in Scarborough, and then I did the bridge program to Ryerson, now TMU, also with child and youth care. So getting a degree in there, and then I bridged off to do my master's in social work at University of Windsor, and that's about 7 years of schooling. So it's been um, a long wait to get here where I am today. But it's worthwhile, right? It's working in different atmospheres to better learn and develop my skills. But it's definitely worth it. I'm happy where I am, and I had a lot of support from family and friends along the way. So, yeah.
How valuable was the education and your time at the University of Windsor?
It was good. It was also online, so it was during COVID, so everything moved online, which was good for me because the commute would have been difficult. Um, but it was definitely interesting because doing a whole program online, it was different times of COVID and everything, adapting to that new norm. Um, but it was definitely able to build like relationships with my colleagues as well online and professors. It was about a 2.5 year program, so we would do different group activities and also placement experiences as well. I've done my placement at a school board as well as a private practice. So working for another agency, getting that therapeutic approach with clients, and that was also online. So a lot of things have geared to the online platform, which is good for people because they can access it whenever and it's accessible. When a lot of individuals work from in person, or they can come home and log on to a virtual session. So it's kind of accessible for a lot of folks.
How much of an adjustment was it doing the schooling online than being in classroom? I never went through that, obviously, because of my age, but I wanted to get your perspective of that. And by the way, I switched careers into radio media during the pandemic as well back in 2020.
Yeah, yeah. I think switching to in person, obviously, I'm a hands-on person as well. So, like, I'm a visual learner. I like to kind of do something before I actually do it myself. So, I think it was an adjustment, but I kind of got used to it, right? You have to. So, kind of learning from the computer and seeing a professor, building that relationship, and doing the assignments. It was easier to navigate because, like, if I worked full time, I can just log on after and do my schoolwork. So it was easy to adapt, but um, it was difficult with COVID and everything, right? We don't know what was happening. So
I want to get your perspective on this too, Sherelle. Do you find mental health issues have increased during the pandemic and after the pandemic?
yes, I think so for sure. Um, a lot of people have social anxiety, right? We didn't know what was happening with COVID, and people were forced to isolate for long periods of time. So we didn't know what was happening. A lot of kids in school, they had to also be online, right? So they lost that connection with their friends. Um, and then going back to school, they had to adjust. This is the going back to an environment where they're seeing their friends physically. Um, can be difficult. So there was a lot of anxiety going back, a lot of depression as well, and I feel like it still has that effect to people today. So a lot of people are coming to therapy for depression, anxiety, trauma, and the list goes on. So I think it definitely had a major impact.
What are some of the biggest causes of mental health issues nowadays? Obviously, money financially, but what are some other causes?
Sometimes it could be family stress, right? Financially, like you said, but sometimes whatever is going in your household, right? School stress as well. Um, the environment right now with like the hurricane Melissa, right? It's a lot of stress and anxiety and work stress as well. That can be a factor. Sometimes cultural factors can play a role, right? Being pressured into something, um, culture and inclusivity, right? So there's a variety of factors, I would say.
And I guess without getting into politics, with all the bad news and the gloom and doom too, and even on social media, that can affect people's mental health if they have too much negativity coming into their homes.
100%. Social media has a big role on um, young individuals as well, right? We're the first thing we wake up, we're on our phones. The last thing when we go to bed, we're on our phones.
I'm
We're so
guilty. I'm guilty of it
yeah, me too, me
too.
too. We're
I'm guilty of it.
yeah, we're so conditioned to it, and it's like a lot of things online we consume, and it's sometimes are a lot of negative things online that we consume. So it definitely plays a role in our mental health, and we have to kind of limit ourselves um, instead of consuming all of this social media stuff. So yeah, it definitely plays a role.
Now, can you? I don't know. Have you dealt with anybody that's a first line responder, like a paramedic, police, and that? Because they obviously have to deal with a lot of stress, and also, can you explain to our audience a little bit about what PTSD is?
Yeah, I've never actually had like a first responder as a client, but post-traumatic stress disorder is something that, if they're dealing with, like you said, like a police officer might deal with a lot of stress of gun violence, or they might take that home with them, right? So that kind of plays a role. They might have nightmares or take it on in their everyday life. So that kind of plays a role on their mental health, and sometimes they seek therapy for it, right?
Now, you already answered the one question about where you went to school. Who are some of your early influences and mentors, if you had any, getting into therapy?
Yeah, I would say my family, like my family's a very influential on me, and my mom's also in social work. So she kind of, led the way, and my brother also works in the school board, and his wife is also works in this industry too. So kind of just ran in my family, and they've always supported me, my partner as well, and friends. So they've always kind of supported me on this journey, my ups and downs, right? So I would say they're like my support system.
How important nowadays for everybody to try to have a strong support system, if not with family, but with friends and stuff like that?
Yeah, always find someone that you can relate to and connect with, right? Now build that support. And sometimes, they might not have that, and they might reach out to a therapist, right? And, offering that safe space and, a non-judgmental environment for them to feel heard and understood and appreciated, I think is important. But just finding a person that you can really trust and value, right? And build that comfortability with them. Um, and sometimes you might have to have boundaries with certain individuals as well, right?
Now, when exactly did you really develop a strong interest in the therapy profession? Was there
Yeah,
a, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, ever since I was younger, I would say I was always intrigued of like working with individuals, and um, a lot of my friends would come to me sometimes for like advice, and I was always like the listening ear, and I showed a lot of empathy. So I felt like it was always kind of like my passion and drive to be in the helping profession and help people around me to reach their full potential, and just be there. I was always a people person, so I just like to help people.
You mentioned the word empathy. Do you find empathy nowadays around the world has really diminished?
Um, to a certain extent, there's some obviously good people out there, but a lot of times, we don't show enough of empathy, and a lot of people you don't really have that conversation where you kind of just walk and do about your business, right? You go about your business. So I think there's can be improved. A lot of people are on their social media, and they're not really involved and have that face-to-face interactions with others. So um, sometimes it doesn't always come up, empathy.
And then compassion as well.
Yeah, having compassion. Um, you try to do that with your friends and your family, right? You have that, but with a stranger, you might not necessarily show that compassion or empathy. So I think people are kind of to themselves and reserved. They kind of stick with who they know. Um, so yeah, I think we have a long way to go, but um, I think people kind of just are sticking to who they know and show empathy to their friends and family more so.
Sherelle, in your opinion, what makes a good a therapist nowadays?
Providing a safe space, right? Being non-judgmental, having an active listening ear where you can just feel comfortable and let that client feel comfortable enough to share whatever they're going through, building that therapeutic approach early, right? So a trusting environment where the client can kind of share what their experiences are and work towards their goals, right? You're always showing up for the client. You're engaged. You're with your body language. You can kind of tell when someone's interested in talking to you or um, they can support you in their journey. So I think just being there to um, build that, and I think yeah, that's what I would say.
What's 3 words to describe you as a therapist? 3 words.
Good question. Compassionate, caring, and kind.
You also mentioned listening skills. And when I
Mm.
started this 6 years ago, I scripted everything. And sometimes a guest would give me an answer, but I wouldn't really hear it because I'd be focused on looking down on a piece of paper. And I had some good advice from a couple of professional broadcasters. And they're like, write your points and notes down, but make sure your conversation with your guest is natural conversation. Because there's nothing worse when somebody's looking down at a piece of paper instead of looking at their guest like your clients. And
Yeah,
to me, they've told me in media radio, listening skills is as important as talking, if not more, especially when you're having guests. And I'm sure the same thing as a therapist with your clients.
100%. Yeah. You want to be engaged, making eye contact, your body language, right? You're not going to be like slouching in your chair. You're not going to be like your hands on your chin. You're going to be engaged and nodding and showing you like you're actively listening to the other person.
In your opinion, do you feel listening skills nowadays aren't as good as they should be?
Hmm. I think that people listen, but they just don't understand. Like they kind of lose or get distracted sometimes when you're talking about, let's say you're talking for like a long period of time. You might get kind of distracted of like what the other person's saying. So I think kind of just summarizing like, hey, do I understand we're on the same page kind of thing, so the other person can feel validated in what they're saying.
How much has technology changed listening skills too? Because there's so many distractions out there nowadays, especially these things called smartphones.
Yeah. Yeah, like we talked about earlier, we're always on our phones and we don't always listen to other things. We're on memes, we're listening to TikTok or Instagram Reels. So we're kind of consumed by social media and it's kind of helped in us in a certain way with like tech therapy because you can as a therapist you can have an Instagram account and promote like good knowledge and good information, different worksheets or coping skills that you can do, but sometimes it's things that we are consuming that could be impactful, right, to our mental health, body image, um, kind of trying to fit in to the norm of society. um, so I think that it definitely has its pros and cons.
We have a viewer here from Buffalo, New York. He's a friend of mine. He has his own podcast show in Buffalo called the 716 Sports
Nice.
Blizzard. His name is Robbie Schneider. He says, hello, Chris and Sherelle. Great show.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thanks for watching.
And for those people that are watching right now on live stream and you have a question from our guest, Sherelle, please type in your questions or comments in the comments section and we'll do the best to answer your questions as well.
Awesome.
Sherelle, can you tell us a little bit about these terms in therapy? Uh, MWS or MSW and RSW. I think RSW is registered social worker, I believe.
Yes, exactly. So MSW is Masters of Social Work. So that's like your degree. So when you go to school, you'll get a master's of social work, and that will allow you to be a therapist or open your own private practice. Um, and then a registered social worker is what you would do when you are done school. You would register with the Ontario College of Social Work and Social Services. And yeah, that gives you like the license to be a social worker.
Besides the education part, do you have to be certified as well?
Yeah, so I would,
Certification? Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, you would get your certification in like the MSW, so like your degree, and then your credentials would be like your registered social worker. You can also do different therapeutic modalities to like do certificates as well to kind of gain more knowledge and skills. Um, so yeah.
How much has the therapy industry, even in your time, changed with today's technology and social media, and maybe thoughts on AI too?
Yeah, I would say before, like everything was in person, right? You would go to an office space and have a therapy session with your therapist, right? And now everything's online. Oh, you can have the option of doing both. So I think it's changed in a way that, um, you can be at home and do therapy, and it's still that beneficial for the client. It's still they're getting that support as well. um, so it's changed in that way. Everything's kind of online. You see um, information, different groups as well online that you can do like group workshops. There's different and there's people from all over the world that can attend these things, right? So it kind of has helped in that way, in a positive change. And I think that AI also, before you would like write your down your notes, you would enter in your database. But now with AI, there's like AI note taking, right? You can have AI do your note taking for you, so you can kind of be engaged in the therapy session. So it's kind of advanced, um, and I think it's still beneficial for therapists and the clients, because you can still build that therapeutic awareness and therapeutic relationship.
Now, I was born in the 70s and I grew up in the 70s and 80s and obviously the 90s. Back then, when somebody went to see a therapist or saw a shrink, they would be labeled as crazy and nuts. Do those stereotypes nowadays, when people do see a therapist or even a shrink or a psychiatrist, still apply to these days?
I feel like therapy and mental health has been more common now. Like people are more like reaching out. There's still like a little bit of stigma, but I think it's more common and more knowledgeable, right? A lot of people are more aware of like, okay, let me see what a therapist in my area. I can get that support. A lot of people are just trying to build that connection with someone because they might not have it at home. And there's free 15-minute consultations that you can see with a therapist, right? So you can kind of meet them and see if it works for you. So I feel like more people are kind of seeking out that support, and they have a therapist. They're not really ashamed to kind of say that. Um, Sometimes even men as well, right? There's a big stigma with men and mental health. They feel like they have to be, there's a lot of pride in it. They think that, okay, I can't still be strong and go to therapy. Well, you can, right? Therapy is not just for someone who has like a mental illness. You can have that support when you're kind of going through work stress or family issues or relationship issues, right?
Or
Uh,
work or in
yeah,
workplaces?
exactly. Exactly. So I think it's more talked about, and a lot of workplaces they have the EAP.
EAP.
Yeah,
What
right.
are your
So
thoughts on that? I was going to ask you about that. Do you
yeah,
feel there's enough being done by companies in Ontario specifically for EPA for their assistance programs, employment program for assistance?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of jobs require it. Sorry, not require. Like a lot of jobs have that. Um, where you can, let's say something happens at work, you have that support there, right? Usually in your benefits or um, supports. I think it's needed because a lot of times we don't know where to go, right? So having that in your workplace, you can have that support and it's confidential. You have that relationship with that person.
What are your thoughts on a work-life balance? Because nowadays the cost of living is going up. People are
Yeah.
having to get two, three full-time jobs. What's your thoughts on work-life balance?
Yeah, I think it's important to implement the self-care, right? So having like okay, you work 9 to 5. Okay, when you come home, what are you gonna do? You're gonna most likely eat. Having a gym routine is beneficial for you. Having mindfulness as well, being present, doing yoga, Pilates, whatever your self-care routine is for you, I think do more of it because we do get stressed out of work and um, the company kind of just goes on their day, but you are suffering. So doing things that you enjoy and love and see your friends and family. Reach out to someone that you haven't seen in a long time. Kind of build that support, right? Because yeah, we deal with a lot, and sometimes we have to pour in ourselves.
Sherelle, when somebody is in need of a therapist, what are some good tips or good advice for looking for the to make sure you have the right therapist?
Yeah, I would say making sure they have like certain experiences maybe that you're kind of looking for, um, credentials, right? Making sure they're like a registered social worker or registered psychotherapist. Um, Building that connection, like if you're able to build a connection with that therapist, do different consultations to see the right fit for you. If you're looking for like in-person sessions or virtual, kind of see what they offer. Also financially, like if you have benefits if that cover that specific therapist. um, a lot of them offer sliding scales as well, so kind of finding that um, connection, right? And I think that would be built in the consultations that you have.
Can you explain to our audience the differences between a therapist and a psychiatrist, aka shrink?
hmm So a therapist is more of like talk therapy. You will work on your goals, your personal journey, any stress or mental health disorders you may experience. Um, and they cannot prescribe medication, whereas psychiatrists they can. They are more doing the assessments to determine if you are diagnosed with ADHD or autism or any other mental health disorders. So they will do the more of the diagnosis and they can prescribe medication.
Right now, currently, how many types of therapists are out there right now?
Oh, there's a lot. There's like a mental health counselor. There is art therapist. There's occupational therapist. There's like play therapist, um, a registered social worker, mental health therapist. There's different types. I would say it's a lot.
I know this is your first time on a podcast, but have you considered in the future maybe doing a therapy podcast show as well?
I've actually never thought about it, but I would want to, because strictly right now I'm just individual. I work with individuals virtually, but my goal would be to kind of do like a group therapy or different types of workshops. Never thought about a podcast, but that would be definitely interesting to do too. Yeah, but maybe
And
down the
per-
road.
and if you need some help with starting up one, please let me know.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
You know, I ended up doing this career through volunteer work. And I tell people it's good to volunteer to give back to your community, but sometimes
Yeah,
you can find your career volunteering as well. And I'm a people person. As much as I love doing this virtual show, I do a lot of freelance media person interviews in person. And there's
nice.
nothing better than when you're dealing with people as well in
Yeah,
person.
it's nice to like connect with someone and someone that you don't get to always talk to and you do enjoy your work, right? So that's awesome. Yeah.
How much of an impact we've already talked about social media, but let's focus on TikTok because I joined TikTok 5 years ago and I had this preception notion that this is ridiculous. This is for high school kids,
Yeah.
teenagers, and stuff like that. And one of my friends told me if I wanted to get in the radio media, you need to get on TikTok. And 5 years later, I've built up my brand and learned how to
Yeah.
cut promos. So, how much of an impact has TikTok had on you and your therapy?
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of had the same kind of outlook. I'm like, I'm not gonna get on TikTok. Like, I don't have time for that. But now I'm like, this is actually great. Like, this is good to kind of promote myself and do different information that like on specific like modalities or like showing awareness of like therapy and different kind of topics, right? So it's good to kind of share information that way, and it's helped get different viewers, and people can connect and learn.
And that's how we met on TikTok. And I've had a number of
Exactly.
guests I've connected with on TikTok because I've seen their content and I can relate to it. And then they obviously can check me out on TikTok and obviously like my work. So it's a good tool. Social media, you hear all the negative aspects of it, and there are a lot of negatives. But if you use it the right way, it can help you with your career, your business, and a lot of other things if you use it the right way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because like you don't get to always see people face to face, but you can build a community online who are have the same interests as you and enjoy the same things that you do, right? So like for therapy, you connect with people that have the same kind of ideas, or you can learn from each other. So it's great to have these kind of platforms.
Well, therapy and mental health is all across the world. It's not just one area. Just like with
Exactly.
my show, yeah, I'm here in Guelph, Ontario, but I've got 66 countries around the world listening to this show right now. And it's just amazing how the technology has changed everything.
Yeah, exactly. You can reach other people and support other people around the world, right? And we're all kind of going through some certain things that are similar, right? So it's nice to kind of have that space where you can kind of connect.
Can you tell us, or can you tell our audience a little bit about being the founder of Caring Conversations and Mental Health Services, and what were some of the early challenges of starting up your own company, and maybe the branding and the marketing aspect of it too?
Yeah, starting up was, ups and downs, right? I'm working full time and then still doing your own like side gig. It's hard, right? You work 9 to 5 and then you come home and you still want to work and do your own self-employment and build a practice and making sure you're doing your website and promoting yourself and connecting with other people who you can get that support from, or registering on Psychology Today. There's different um, areas that you have to do to start your own private practice, and it takes time, right? It doesn't take um, a day. It takes a process. It's a process thing. So um, you know just every day goes a long way. So I would come home from work and work on my website, for example, and just try to edit and do dip bit by bit to find the end product, right? So there was some challenges, but you work through them, and that's why I'm here today. So happy about that. And hearing conversations, the name kind of spoke to me. I always kind of wanted like what I do in the name and the title of the business. So I like to have caring conversations with people. I'm very empathetic. I'm very kind. So building that, and I think having those conversations and a dialogue with people, it's caring. It's you're supporting them on their journey. So that was kind of how I kind of came up with the name of the business. But um, yeah, you were gonna say
I
something, I
have
think.
another Yes, I have another viewer watching on Instagram Live. His name is Patty McFaddy. He is a stand-up comedian, so he wanted to say hi. And like I said, I want to say thank you to everyone watching this show on live stream. And if you have any, before we let our guest go in about 10, 15 minutes, if you have any comments or questions for my guest, please put them in the comments section as well. How important is it making sure you have the right logo and branding? As myself, it's important to make sure you have the right logo and branding that suits your needs.
Yeah, I would say like find what's important to you, what you kind of want to show. So like with my logo, there's two people having a conversation, right? It's in the name. So having that and representing what you are practicing, right? And the branding of having like complementary colors, right? Something that kind of stands out and grabs the viewer's attention. I think it's important. So kind of just like what you believe in, I would say, and what you value, and then kind of showcasing that.
And how important is it to make sure you're on as many social media platforms as possible?
Yeah, I think showing awareness, right? Spreading your name out there, helping individuals who are going through mental health issues, and um, showing that you're there for them, right? So showcasing your business on social media like Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm on those platforms. So you can kind of connect with someone that might not have certain or on social media. You can kind of show that, okay, like try to get on these platforms so you can kind of connect with them.
For those people that are watching this show live stream or later on audio platforms, and there's somebody out there that's looking to get into therapy like you are, what advice would you give to them? And if there's somebody out there right now having a tough time with their mental health, what advice would you give to them quickly, briefly?
Yeah, you're not alone in it. I would say that a lot of people are probably going through the same things as you. Um, Reach out to someone that you can trust and build that network, that support with the people around you. Seek out a therapist in your area that can be that listening ear for you that you might not have. Um, and just try to go for it. It takes a lot of bravery and courage to seek that support, but kind of don't give up on yourself. Believe in yourself that you can always do it, and there's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Sherelle, what are some of the services you provide at Caring Conversations currently as a therapist?
Yeah, so I do individual therapy, and I've worked with individuals just find healthy coping mechanisms. So whether that be with their anxiety, depression, ADHD, autism, grief, or loss, kind of just providing that platform for them to feel heard and understood and appreciated. I would do different like activities that I find that's relevant to that specific person, or different worksheets that are beneficial to that specific need, as well as like different breathing exercises and coping skills that we would do in sessions, so they can feel validated and kind of learn to do this on their own as well. Like when you're doing therapy, you try to support them the best way you can, but also let them be able to kind of stand on their own, right? That's why they're attending regularly. They try to manage on their own afterwards.
Now, being an entrepreneur and starting up your own company online, um, what would you say to somebody that's looking to do the same thing from your experience so far?
I would say making sure you're taking the right programs. So like bachelor's of social work, right? In order to get your master's, you would need your bachelor's of social work, so BSW. And kind of, let's say, for like a high school student, connecting with your guidance counselor to make sure you're taking the right programs in order to get where you are as a therapist, if that's what your passion is. So taking the right courses, doing your research, educating yourself, asking questions, joining groups to ask those questions, right? Because you might not know, and just kind of doing yeah, your own research.
Can you just tell our audience a little bit about Caring Conversations, your approach with all your clients?
Yeah, I try to build that therapeutic space and that relationship with all my clients. Engaging, letting them talk about their experiences that they're going through, and just providing that platform for them to feel validated and appreciated, right? And sometimes they don't always get that, so kind of just building that space where they can trust me, and it's a safe space and it's confidential, where they can just share whatever they're going through, and we will work on their goals, um, work on whatever they're going through. I meet clients where they're at, right? It's a person-centered approach. So if they feel like they're going through a hard time, we'll talk about that hard time and what ways that we can heal from that, right? If they're going through grief or loss, how can we heal from this? And we'll do different things that are relevant in our sessions.
One thing too that can affect your mental health and well-being is losing your job too. People losing their
Hmm.
jobs, being fired, or they end up quitting or getting laid off nowadays.
Yeah, that definitely takes a toll on your mental health, right? So seeking different groups that are also maybe in the same field or same experience, right? Or a therapist that you can connect with.
If you're okay for time, Sherelle, we got about another 10 minutes left. I wanted to
Yeah,
play a little clip from your Instagram page, if that's okay.
yeah, sure.
It's from your Instagram channel, caring_conversations, and this one is about forgiveness. This is something that I need to work on, and I'm sure a lot of people too. Sometimes you get angry at people, and I thought this was really appropriate to use with you
Yeah.
today. And I'll play the clip right now.
Today I want to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a broad topic. Forgiveness is hard to do. A lot of times people have a difficult time forgiving someone because of their wrongdoing. It's not about forgetting what happened or pretending that it didn't hurt. Sometimes pain stays for a very long time. Forgiveness is a choice. It's deciding that you're not going to let the past feel like a trap. It's deciding to release the weight, not for them, but for you, because carrying anger and hurt only holds you back. It doesn't mean that they're off the hook or that you forget. It just means that you stop giving them control over your peace and happiness.
Thoughts on this video, and this does apply to me and probably millions of people out there.
Yeah, it's hard, right? When someone does us wrong, right? Or whether that be a family or friend, it's hard to forgive. People say you forgive, but you don't forget, right? And when you forgive someone, it's forgiving them. You're doing it for yourself, right? You're taking that baggage off your shoulders and allowing yourself to heal from the hurt. So I think that it's a hard thing to do. It's definitely a process, but it's important. And when you are able to forget that person, it's like a relief. Like it doesn't affect you anymore. You're healing. That means you're growing, right? So it's a process, but it's really needed for your mental health.
Holding grudges can affect your mental health, and it's kind of like a poison to your body. So this is something I know. I'm aware of myself weaknesses. This is something I need to work on with forgiveness and probably not holding grudges as well. And that's something I want to work on. By the way, I have another viewer. He was a
Mm.
guest of mine a couple weeks ago. He was in the U.S. military for 20 years. He's now a professional motorcycle rider. He was on my show a couple weeks ago. His name was Edward Hearn. He's watching on Instagram Live. He wanted to ask you, Sherelle, have you ever dealt with any military veterans or any young adults of military veterans?
Oh, thank you for asking the question. I have not. Um, I'm sure that there might be a therapist in your area that you can reach out to that can get that support, but I've actually not.
Thank you, Edward, for watching and for the question as well. As we wrap up this show, Sherelle, how can people learn more about you and book a free consultation with you with Caroline Conversations?
Yeah, I have a website. It is caring-conversations.ca. And there is a booking link that you can book our free consultation. It's about 15 minutes, and we'll just talk about your goals, what you have in therapy, and whatever you're kind of going through and your experiences, and how I can support you in that journey. And yeah, it's just about kind of getting to know you and what brings you to therapy, whether that's your first time or you had therapy before. We'll kind of just talk about that. But yeah, my website, Caring Conversations. So caring-conversations.ca.
Do you have a phone number where people can call you to in case they're not really into emailing?
Yeah. So my phone number is 289-674-5779. And my email
Okay, well,
also is caringconversations.mh@gmail.com.
And as we wrap up this show, by the way, I do this with all my guests as we wrap it up. What is a fun fact about yourself?
Yeah, I would say I like adventures, so like traveling and doing adventurous activities, things that are different or things that are just fun to kind of get out the house. So like hiking or yoga or like rock climbing, different things. Yeah.
How important is it for people's mental health to do hobbies and stuff like that to kind of get away from the work world, the work
Yeah,
grind, I should say?
Yeah, I think it's important because we're so glued to like working Monday to Friday, right? And the weekends are so short, we don't get to really do the things that we enjoy. We're usually maybe grocery shopping on a Saturday or just try to unwind on the Sunday. So, doing like a hobby that you enjoy, if it's a sport or like crocheting or sewing or whatever that is, do it more, right? And try to find something that you always wanted to do. Learn an instrument, go watch a comedy show, right? Doing something that brings you joy and happiness, I think, is important because that also helps with your mental health.
You said traveling. What has been your favorite country and city that you've been to so far?
I love Thailand. I went there for a cousin's wedding. It was beautiful. A long flight, but it was definitely worth it. It was really nice. Yeah, I've been to Thailand. I'm going to Costa Rica soon. I've been to Mexico. Yeah, I just like to travel and try different places. I went to Italy as well for another wedding. Yeah.
Favorite food when you've gone on to traveling? Is there one country where the food was just amazing?
Uh, I'm not very, I can't think of like one food. My favorite food is shrimp. I love shrimp. But one food that I've traveled to. In Italy, the pizza was really good. So I would say maybe Italy. Their pizza was really fresh and fluffy. Yeah, that's the thing I can think of. Yeah.
So you said your favorite food right now is what? Shrimp?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
What makes a good shrimp?
What makes a good shrimp? I don't the Cajun shrimps, like when you can go to like Red Lobster, they have like the different kinds. Like so yeah, my go-to.
Okay. Now I'm starting to get hungry.
Yeah.
And as we wrap this up, Sherelle, this is a new segment. It's called Ask the Host CDP a Question. Do you have a question for the host? Put me on the hot seat before we wrap this up.
Yeah. I know you said that you volunteered, but what kind of made you get into doing like your own radio hosting and podcast?
I guess 6 years ago, I was volunteering with a local basketball team called the Guelph Nighthawks in the CEBL, which they moved to Calgary a couple years later. They asked me if I could do some camera work for them. I said okay, but I've never done camera work in my life. They showed me they showed me what I needed to do. I filmed the game, and at the end of the game, they liked my work. They actually paid me, which was unbelievable because I was volunteering, but they paid me. And then they referred me to a local cable company. And during the pandemic, before the shutdown, I was doing camera work, and I'm like, I like this. And then as we got shut down during the pandemic, I told one of the producers, and I don't think he believed me. I said, I'm going to start my own podcast talk show up. And I started it up 6 years ago. I wasn't very good. I couldn't get guests on, and I kept working at it. I had a friend that kept believing in me, and now 6 years later, 700 episodes and 1,400 interviews, and I was on a radio station in Georgia. So I tell people it's never too late to start a new career. And also, when you start a new career, it's you got to work hard. You have to have a passion, you have to have a work ethic, and you have to be willing to have an open mind as well. And it hasn't been an easy road, but this is something I love doing: the storytelling from my guests, learning from my guests, and connecting with people.
Yeah, 100%. And good for you. Like, having a platform to learn from others and, sharing knowledge. It's great. It's needed and, it's nice to be here. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
And it's the guests that make a talk show. I
Yeah.
always make sure the focus is on the guests, and I want my guests to feel comfortable on here and come back on my show again in the future too.
Yeah, 100%. I'll definitely be back if I'm invited.
Definitely. And by the way, where can our audience again follow you on social media, your website, and the best way again contacting you at Carrying Conversations?
Yeah, so Caring Conversations on Instagram and TikTok is caring_conversations.mh. So that's Instagram and TikTok. My email address, caringconversations.mh@gmail.com. And my LinkedIn is Sherelle Schoburgh. And my website again, caring-conversations.ca.
Well, Sherelle, I want to say thank you so much for coming on my 610th episode today. And I want to say congratulations on opening your new practice. And who knows, maybe one day I will need you as well.
Thank you so much, Chris. This has been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. And give me a little bit of time tonight, and I will send you the full video, the audio, and I will break this into some reels and clips for you as well. And I will tag you on TikTok and Instagram and social media too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been great.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you again for coming on.
Okay, no problem. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody, that wraps up season 12, episode 5, overall 610 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. By the way, guys, check out Cipriana's Pizzeria, located at 22 Queen Street West in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-220-1295, or visit their website, ciprianaspizzeria.ca. If you like homemade pizza, homemade lasagna, Greek food, homemade soup, chili, rice pudding, please check out Cipriana's Pizzeria, again at 22 Queen Street West in Cambridge. It's in Hespeler Village. And again, you can call them at 519-220-1295. Tell them Chris Pomini sent you, and visit their website, ciprianaspizzeria.ca. If you like to support a small local business, you like homemade pizza, homemade lasagna, everything's homemade, Cipriana's Pizzeria is the place to check out in Cambridge, Ontario. And I give them a big 5 stars up for their homemade lasagna as well. As we wrap up the show, guys, I got another announcement. The next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again brought to you by BarryCullen.com. To be announced, I am working on more guests and more shows for next week as well. And hopefully the Small Talk podcast will be back next week. And the Argo Bells podcast show, episode 16, I'm hoping to do with Nick this weekend. Nick was under the weather. I believe he had strep throat, so I'm hoping Nick is feeling better now to do our show this weekend and wrap up the 2025 edition of the Argo Balance podcast show as well. So stay tuned to my social media pages for the next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show and the next Argo Balance podcast show, which is going to be the season final as well. And we're going to talk about the CFL East semifinal, Winnipeg and Montreal this weekend, and I believe the West semifinal, it is on Saturday as well. It'll be Calgary at BC as well. So I'm looking forward to those games as well. And as we wrap up the show, everybody, again, you can follow Sherelle on these social media platforms. There's an article on her on psychologytoday.com. Therapist, please check that out. And her website is caringconversationsmentalhealth.ca. I believe, yeah, caring-conversations.ca. And Sherelle is on LinkedIn as well if you want to follow her there. Sherelle Schoburgh on LinkedIn as well. So her links are all there. And I want to say to Sherelle, thank you so much for coming on here today. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now, with a new vehicle purchase, you can get a $150 instant rebate on winter tires on a set of 4 new Bridgestone BlizzTack winter tires with the purchase of a finance or lease or an eligible new 2023 to 26 vehicle. Conditions apply at Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership, or pop by the dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall, and they can help you out with that as well. It is going to be November 1st on Saturday, and the cold and the snow and weather is going to get here. So if you feel comfortable driving with winter tires, Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership is the place to check out winter tires. And if you do get a new vehicle or lease one or finance one, you can get a $150 rebate. Check out barrycullen.com for more details, or again, pop by the dealership there as well. And they've been the sponsor of this show for the last 3 years, and great customer service there as well. And a shout out to Jim Zettel, the mechanic, and Greg Smith, who's a service consultant there as well. If you're looking for a personalized video from yours truly, CDP, go to cameo.com, type in Chris Palme. I do happy birthday wishes, happy anniversary, pep talks. If you want to ask me questions about my talk shows, my radio show, my media work, some of my favorite interviews, favorite athletes I've talked to, book your Cameo today through Chris Palme on cameo.com. And looking forward to doing a Cameo for you as well. You can also follow me on Blue Sky Social. Blue Sky Social is like what Twitter used to be, at Live with CDP19 on Blue Sky Social. If you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0, or visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals that are up for adoption, their profiles are on cambridgehumanesociety.org. And also, I am, for the next month, I'll be selling 2026 Cambridge District Humane Society calendars for $10. The proceeds go back to the programs at the Cambridge District Humane Society, and these calendars are amazing. They did a great job with them this year, and I'm hoping to sell 30 calendars and raise $300. So if you'd like a calendar and you're in the Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge, Guelph area, they're only $10 cash, or you can e-transfer me $10 cash. And if you're out of town watching this show where I have to ship it to you, shipping will be extra. So the calendar will remain $10, but if you do want it shipped out to your location, shipping will be extra as well. And these calendars they did a really great job, and you're supporting a great cause in the Cambridge District Humane Society as well. And by the way, every Wednesday, they have a pet emergency fund at the Cambridge District Humane Society. So if you have pet food at home, dog food, cat food, bunny food, general pet food that you're not using, drop by the Cambridge District Humane Society. They're located right across from the Cambridge Center Mall at 1650 Dunbar Road. There are a lot of people that are struggling financially right now with the cost of pet food and that. So let's try to help out people as well. So make sure, again, you do that, and also make sure you buy one of their raffle tickets as well. You can do that through cambridgehumanesociety.org. And if you'd like a calendar, please email me at cpalme19@gmail.com or DM me on my social media pages as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And hopefully one day StreamYard will partner up with TikTok. You can check out my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. You can follow this content creator on TikTok at Chris Palme, and thank you to my 1,100 followers, and I have more good content coming on TikTok. So make sure you follow, like, and share my content on TikTok. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or live streaming, check out StreamYard.com. They do have basic free plans, paid professional plans like I do. And if you're a business that does a lot of webinars or live streaming, go to StreamYard.com and contact the sales department for business pricing as well. And StreamYard has been the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show for the past 5 years. I give them a big thumbs up. As we wrap up this show, guys, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, the audio versions on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, Good Pod. So make sure you should subscribe, like, and share on my audio platforms as well. And as we wrap up the show, guys, you can email Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpalme19@gmail.com. And if you like to support my YouTube channel and my talk shows, you really like my content, you can PayPal me at Chris Palme on PayPal as well. cpalme19@gmail.com. But you can also PayPal me if you'd like to support my show, you like my content on PayPal as well. And finally, guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, everywhere except Snapchat. And also make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chris Palme, or Live with CDP Talk Show. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers and all my viewers as well. And that is about it tonight. We have Thursday night football. Baltimore and Miami at 8:15. I think Baltimore is going to win that game. And the NHL tonight, we've got the Detroit Red Wings and the Los Angeles Kings at 10:30. And the 2025 World Series goes tomorrow at 8 o'clock. The Blue Jays are one win away from the World Series championship for the first time since 1993. And the Dodgers are only 2 wins away from winning a World Series. Don't count out the Dodgers, especially they have Yokomoto pitching tomorrow night, and he already threw a complete game against the Blue Jays in game 2. So this series is far from done. The Blue Jays obviously are in a good position, up 3-2, but don't count out the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are still the defending world champs, and they have their best pitcher on and best pitcher in baseball on tomorrow night, 8 o'clock from the Rogers Center. Game 7, if needed, will be on Saturday, November 1st at 8 o'clock at the Rogers Center as well. And I want to wish everybody a happy Halloween tomorrow. I hope you all get a lot of candy and treats and enjoy your happy Halloween. And we will see you back here next week for more editions of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, and also the Argo Bounce podcast show, the season final, episode 16. And the Small Talk podcast will be returning next week. And I might even have a special guest co-host fill in for Marlene Sharp as well. So please make sure you check out my social media pages for the upcoming episodes as well. And that is about it. Again, thank you to my guest, Sherelle Schoburgh, for coming on here today. She is a therapist and founder of Caring Conversations and Mental Health Services as well. I hope everybody has a great night. Enjoy the NFL. Enjoy the World Series tomorrow, and make sure you all have a great, happy Halloween. We'll see you back here next week for another edition of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, hosted by yours truly, Chris Palme, and brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. Good night, everybody, and happy Easter from CDP.